It is KZN's number one hit music station, and we are now in an amazing situation because it is a Wednesday and it's Woman Crush Wednesday. What do we do with Woman Crush Wednesday? We profile incredible trailblazing women that are doing amazing things. And today we have an amazing woman. Her name is Nokwanda Khumalo. She's done something quite remarkable. She's curated and created and edited a book that is profiling 32 incredible women in leadership across Mzansi, right? I'm talking about women doing incredible things in different spaces, and she's put this book together, and I thought, what a wonderful way for us to get into this month of August, this month of women and women empowerment. And she's having the launch on Saturday in Johannesburg, but the book is available across the country, and I believe at least 12 or 13 women that are profiled in this book are women from KZN. So without further ado, the entrepreneur, the businesswoman herself. I know you own two Camelot spas,
yes,
as well as a corporate leader. Welcome, Nokwanda Khumalo. How are you?
Oh, I'm well. I'm so excited to be here. It feels like a homecoming. I'm a KZN girl, so I'm so privileged. Thank you, Carol.
Look at us two KZN girls chatting in Joburg. Isn't this fantastic? So let's talk about this book, Leading with Grace, a Soul Speak Anthology. And I literally have it in my hands. It's a beautiful book. And the title caught me, Leading with Grace.
Yes.
What do you mean by this? And what is this book speaking to?
So this book is an anthology, so it's a collection of short stories. It's human stories. I've tried to sort of go behind these leaders, go to the story behind them, understand their setbacks, understand the journey, what has made them who they are today, and really to debunk the stereotype that leadership is only reserved for a special few. I have intentionally called the book Leading with Grace because Grace was my mother, my late mother.
Oh, wow.
And this project for me is also a bit of a special tribute to her, but also as a reminder that when you talk about grace, it's not just a soft thing. When I say leading with grace, it's about holding the human accountable, but still performing. So it's about performance, but you can do it in a human way. So these women, I've profiled them not because of their successes, but because of the human story behind who they are and how they got to be the people that they are today.
I'm looking at the headings. I mean, you've got part 1, roots, then part 2, becoming, rising, resilience, purpose and legacy, and still I rise into myself as the final chapter. The different books or chapters that you've put out together in this book, talk us through how you came to these titles.
So like I said, I wasn't trying to write a book about teaching women how to lead. I wasn't trying to write my leadership story because I think I'm also still becoming and I'm still evolving. I intentionally went out there to find different women from different walks of life, corporate ladies, entrepreneurs. There's a housekeeper, a housewife, community leaders, people who are leading in different spaces to depict the fact that leadership actually starts with self. And so when you read the book, this is one of those books that's a coffee table book. You can read it from start to finish, but you might just read 1 or 2 stories and just sit with it, and it forces you to reflect a little bit and ask yourself a couple of questions. So as the chapters evolve, it's different themes, and we've really taken some snippets from some of these women's lives, and I'm hoping we're going to land a couple of lessons. And really, it's human truths. It's human truths, because at the end of the day, we may have some fancy titles and different things, but ultimately we are just still human beings.
You're just still human beings. Your foreword is written by a renowned individual.
Yes.
Professor Bonang Mohale. Of course, he's the Chancellor of the University of Free State, former President of Business Unity South Africa, Professor of Practice in the Johannesburg Business School and in the Faculty of Business and Economics. Someone with a lot of respect and revered in so many industries and across South Africa. He wrote the foreword for you. What was his take on this particular book?
So firstly, I've been so privileged. He's been a mentor of mine in my corporate leadership journey. So it's been really, really special to have him lend his words into this piece. And it was important for me to also get a male voice into this book, because I think sometimes, yes, as women, we gather, particularly on a month like this, and we celebrate each other, but we actually need each other. So for me, his contribution was to depict the fact that it has also taken other people and another gender to open the door at times.
Yes.
And that's exactly what sort of his piece is about. And I'm so excited to have him lend his words into what I'm trying to do.
You have 32 beautiful stories. Of all the 32, I know this is a very difficult question, but if you could reflect on one story that you really resonated with, or it just opened your eyes to something new, whose story was that, and what was the story in a nutshell?
Whew, that's a hard one, Carol.
I know.
Every story has got different moments. I'll pick on one of the ladies actually from KZN. Her name is Cebile Xulu.
Okay.
She's the HR director at one of the FMCG companies in Mhlanga.
Right.
When I interviewed her, because I interviewed all of these ladies and we co-wrote their stories together. When I interviewed her, she was going through a very tough time personally. She just lost her mother. She's the eldest child in her family, so she's had to learn responsibility quite early. So a lot of what she talks about is some of the trade-offs and maybe even mistakes women make.
Yes.
And she was referring to her mother, which why it made it so raw, because her mother had literally just passed. She talks about how sometimes as women you can defer your ambitions and next thing your life is over. You know, at the end of the day, we're all going to go. So she talks about she talks with a lot of intentionality and urgency to the reader that no matter how hard life has been, don't give up on yourself, don't give up on your dreams. And at some point in time, you must decide what you're going to carry forward and what you must leave behind in order for you to go forward. So her story was very raw for me because of just the personal experience she had been through and the bravery in which she talks about herself and her family and the relationship with her father. And being the eldest, having to sometimes witness things a young person doesn't necessarily, I think, want to or shouldn't at that age. So her story really stopped me in my tracks.
I love that. I'm actually opened on her page. It's 136. She says, there's a quote here: "You don't have to mother people. You just have to see them fully, acknowledge their realities." So I can understand why that sits well with you. We'll be chatting more with Nokwanda. She is in studio with me today. Nokwanda Khumalo's got a new book called Leading with Grace, a Soul Speak Anthology. And the book is available online. You can get it from, you can email info@soulspeaks.co.za or just go to soulspeaks.co.za. And what I love about what you've done here, Nokwanda, is that it's not just business leaders, it's women leading their lives.
Yes.
You say you have a housekeeper in here.
Absolutely. A community leader. There's housewives. There's entrepreneurs. And really it's to show the fact that leadership is in everything, and it starts with you, and it starts in exactly where you're standing.
Yeah, exactly where you're standing. And I love that, you know, a lot of people see leadership as it belongs to a shepherd.
No.
You know, if you are a shepherd, you can be a leader.
Because you also need to be a shepherd of your own life.
There
Carol.
we go.
Absolutely.
Preach now, girl. Preach now, girl. Now, what I love also about this project is that it's not a you getting rich project.
Oh, no.
It's you enriching others' projects. So as you buy this book, the proceeds of this book are going to something bigger. Talk to us about the Grace Leadership Fellowship.
Oh, this is the part for me that sometimes gets me teary, but it's really the primary objective of what we're trying to do here. The book is just the first step. I wanted to use my mother's name, and I wanted to create legacy and to create opportunity. So I've got a goal, Carol. It sounds crazy, maybe a little bit audacious, but I want to set up a bursary fund. That's what the Grace Leadership Fellowship non-profit company is going to be about, and that's to educate a child. You know, I'm talking to that child sometimes who can feel like they've been put aside because they don't quite qualify for programs like NIFSAS, or their guardians can't quite get things like bank loans to send their children to university after matric. So really, as people buy this book, you are obviously buying the book, you're going to hear the stories, but this fellowship is then aimed at trying to now create the next set of stories, trying to give somebody else an opportunity. So for me, this is how Grace's legacy moves from just remembrance to impact. Yeah.
From just remembrance to impact, which is so, so important. Something else that's really beautiful about this particular project is your leadership and how you have, you know, made sure that you've sourced 32 women from across South Africa. So not one particular city or etc. You went across various cities. Let's chat about the women in KZN that you've profiled.
So I'm so excited about this. Like I said, I'm from Pietermaritzburg myself, and in the portfolio of 32 women in the coffee table, 11 of these ladies are from KZN.
Yay!
So, yay! Pumla Mkhize, Sneh Dlamini, Group Chief Officer at an energy company, Boni Swakama, my housekeeper, who's from Vryheid, Nomkhosi Houghton, Tobile Mkwanazi, Queen Mkopozi, Maurice Bessa, Janet Sitole, Shan Fari, Cebile Xulu, and somebody somebody who's not a stranger to the station, Sis Bonnie Mkuni, who used to be part of the ECR family.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow, that is incredible. That is incredible. Well, as we wrap up this conversation, I'd love you to tell us, your advice for women in this Women's Month. What are your words of encouragement?
I think my parting words, Carol, would be your story matters. Your story matters long before somebody gives you a title, long before you have a platform or feel like you need to have permission. Really, my message is for you to step out into the world, show up for yourself, your community, and do something and leave legacy. Make the space that you're in better just because you were there.
There we go. The words of Nokwanda Khumalo. Get the book, everybody. It's really helping others as well. Soulspeaks.co.za is where you get the book. You can also email info@soulspeaks.co.za. Thank you so much for your time,
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Carol Ofori, weekdays 9 a.m. till 12, East Coast Radio.